Tudor has revealed their new Pelagos, and I don't really know what to think of it. Let's put it like this. Initial thoughts. I will go into my initial thoughts and start with the aesthetics, and then go into more of the thought process of the concept of the watch itself. So looking at the watch, purely aesthetically, I think it is a fantastic looking piece. It is the fact that they took away the date makes the watch even more functional in that sense. It is even more of a pure tool watch than the original Pelagos already was. And something else I'm intrigued by, and initially I wasn't sure what to think of it, but actually I think I like it, is the bezel and the markers that go all around the bezel. And what I didn't initially realize was that the bezel is an inverted bezel, so it is not a dive bezel. It is an inverted bezel that is used for underwater navigation, as I understood it, and it is a bi-directional bezel, so it is not a proper dive watch in that sense, and we'll get back to that. I think the bezel is loomed as well as for the previous Pelagos, which I think is an outstanding feature of the Pelagos, and just overall it's a very clean, symmetrical look from dial to bezel. It's just clean. You can probably hear the sirens. I'm in London. This is ongoing. I cannot do anything about this, so sorry about that. Fine, okay. Another aesthetic that I can appreciate is the aggressive bezel grip. You can tell it is way more outlined than on the previous generation, and it is something I'm used to with Steinhardt watches that also have a very clearly visible grip that gives the watch a very aggressive look, so I do like that about it. What they changed with the dial is that on the previous generation you have a dial that is kind of, you could say it's a step dial that gives the dial a three-dimensional look, and it makes the watch look as if the dial was up against the sapphire crystal, which is something I love about my Pelagos. Now that is not the case on this one, but I think I'd have to see this watch for myself in real life to be able to judge the dial. Dials are very difficult to judge based on pictures, and I think the pictures of this watch don't do it justice, so I'd definitely love to see it in person at some point, but I have seen some pictures of the watch, not from Tudor, that look outstanding, so I think it is a really good looking watch in person. Now let's get to the cons of this watch, or what I kind of have to criticize about it. So as a Pelagos owner myself, owning the blue Pelagos, I have a video on that. I'll leave it here or here somewhere on the screen, but I think that this watch could have been the opportunity for Tudor to kind of, I don't know, make a new line, a new model. I wouldn't say this is a Pelagos, because the Pelagos is really about being that professional diver's watch, and this is not a proper diver's watch. The bezel, it's not a diving bezel, it is a bi-directional bezel, so it really goes against the principle of having a diving bezel or a dive watch. And then also the reduction of the water resistance. Now I know that they did this to reduce the size or the thickness of the case, which I can appreciate. I think that's fantastic on this watch because it looks slimmer, so it's closer to a Submariner in that sense. But I think that one of the key features of the Pelagos is that it is a proper tool dive watch, and therefore the 500 meters water resistance are key, I'd argue. So the fact that they reduce it to 200 meters, obviously it's more than you'll ever need, but it's just the concept of it. I think they could have, yeah, as I say, I don't think this is a proper Pelagos. I think it could have been something else, something new to Tudor. And also something I pretty much hate, to be honest, is the fact that you cannot put a bracelet on it. I'm a bracelet guy and I love bracelets, and the Pelagos bracelet is so good. The fact that I wouldn't be able to put a steel bracelet, a titanium bracelet on the watch is just disappointing, really. I have seen some pictures on NATO straps that are not from Tudor and it looks fantastic, but I just personally know that I wouldn't enjoy, especially a dive watch. I don't enjoy big watches on NATO straps. It's just not for me. It might look good, but for me it defeats the purpose. So overall, I'm kind of excited to see Tudor again try new things, because that is what they do. They keep trying new stuff, although some of it is controversial. But I can appreciate the steps that they are taking with their new launches, and it is still an exciting launch. I think I'll be blown away by the watch in person, simply because it's a bit of a thinner case, and the presence of that bezel, I think, does a lot for the watch. So I'm excited to see it in person. Also, I think I forgot to mention that this watch is made in collaboration with the Marine Nationale, which is basically the French Navy. So that's the whole concept of the watch. But I'm excited to see it in person, and I really want to know from you guys what you think of this watch. So do leave a comment in the comment section down below. We would appreciate it so much if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Ciao.